Many people have suspected this, and I believe this is true personally, that Prince Harry is absolutely terrified, petrified in fact, of his wife Meghan Markle. But more really for these particular reasons and not the ones that you possibly first thought. As ever, let me explain. Hi, good to see you. You're all right. Thank you so much for your time today. And by the way, thank you so much for your support regarding, of course, the Royal Double Standards video and, of course, the Duke of York, Prince Andrew. If you haven't seen it, it's kind of a sort of thing that really annoys me because I don't like, anybody who's cruel to people on those sort of levels. It's beyond their control. They don't answer back, but it's very easier for the tabloid media to simply just put out these cruel headlines and then mock them, make fun of them. And as I said, if that was a woman, it would be double standards. And it really is a case of that, You see it all the time. I know a lot of ladies might say, oh, we've put up with it for years. I'm agreeing, you shouldn't have to. But it's strange, isn't it, that still happens in the 21st century. It's like school ground sort of bullies, isn't it? You think, oh, grow up, As ever, though, back to your royal story of the day. The bells are chiming again, but are they chiming, of course, in a countdown for the fear of none other than the Duke of Sussex, Prince Harry? It's very difficult for him, whatever people might think, because, not the brightest bulb, and I mean that in the kindest possible ways. He thought, under her tutelage, her guidance, that things were going to be so radically different. Depart the royal family, take on the world, get lots of riches, but she had no experience at all. A bit part actress in a bit part sort of cable TV series. That's what she really had to offer, but sold Harry something completely different. Alongside her chum, the then suave Marcus Anderson, and of course, not so suave now. They look particularly very grim in a lot of pictures together because they can see the wheels coming off the golden carriage that they thought was going to go very far for them. Of course, it still will. It will be this particular individual that will be left looking at the remnants of what's gone wrong. We're talking, of course, about Prince Harry. Now, people who worked with the couple for a period said, it's very strange in effect because he literally is a lapdog, not just to her, but of course to Doria too. And as ever, we have to say, allegedly, they rule the roost. He literally is almost like a guest in his own house at times. And they felt very sorry for him. But the bigger reason really is this, you see, very cleverly, and this happens in a lot of relationships, particularly when there's a domineering factor on the one side of that relationship. And we know that Meghan Markle certainly likes to dominate every particular area that she encounters. Well, now Harry's finding himself, quite literally, with no chums at all. Nobody to call, nobody to turn to. That's because his phone has been changed many, many different times. The phone number, so people can't easily get in touch with him. And then, of course, they've been ostracised simply because they're not the right chums, they're not the right people, perhaps the hunting, shooting, fishing set that Meghan was so opposed to. And as we've seen recently, of course, a spectacular wedding which is looming, well, he's not invited to simply because the bottom line is they see them as a troublesome couple. More importantly, they feel he could contain Harry, but Meghan together, what would she decide to do? Wind down the window, wave to fans, whatever, announce something on the day, maybe try and give people pots of jams in the pews. You couldn't control this particular individual. But you see, Harry is terrified now, literally, according to that source, of being left alone. He feels that she is the only true friend alongside Doria that he has. It's very sad in effect, isn't it? Because he obviously had a big circle of friends that seemingly he's now let go and was happy to do that. Meghan in herself, of course, thinks about one thing. Meghan, she's pushing along with American Riviera, making a cooking TV show, while Harry basically is pondering what to do next with his life. But more importantly, in the moments of terrible anxiety, I've been told, gets very emotional, very fearful, and very worried that if Meghan, in fact, was to walk out, and that is the thing that he fears, because he believes that she could walk out and go to a bigger life. That's exactly where Prince Harry is in his head right now. Terrifying to think how things have turned around for him. But more importantly, would she, could she? And who exactly would want that to happen? I would wish that they could work these problems out themselves and move forward into a happier endeavour. But clearly, it's not going to be like that. There's always one domineering factor, and we simply know who that is. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.